Assalamu alaikum. How are you, friends? Hafiz Naeemur Rahman has said something very important, and it is really important to convey to the rest of the Pakistanis. He says that if at all the official protocol does end, 380 billions of rupees will be saved annually. That is really important. Mean more than 1 billion rupees per day on a daily basis. That is something really important. And likewise, if at all the other, you know, unnecessary luxuries are ended and the spend thrifting done by the rulers, by the ruling class is ended, I believe that 380 billions plus maybe several 380 billion rupees will be saved annually. And if at all ending of the official protocols saves 1 billion per day, more than 1 billion rupees per day, then I think if at all other unnecessary luxuries and the spend thrifting is ended, the ruling class spend thrifting is ended on the national exchequer. I think not just 1 billion, but maybe 10, 20, 30 billion per day will be saved. That is really important. Nobody pays attention to it. I think that we, the Pakistani people, Pakistan, it's not that we are without the resources. The resources are there, but the trouble here is that our priorities are wrong, and these wrong priorities are actually responsible for all the failures, for all the troubles, and for all the miseries of the commoners in Pakistan. So, if at all it is considered important to uplift the poor, the commoners in Pakistan, then we need to do one thing, and that one thing is all the ruling class, not just the ministers, not just the minister, the prime, all of these, all the people belonging to the ruling class. I think that their spend thrifting must end. They are, they are doing availing every imaginable luxury on the, on the national exchequer, and that is why they remain so desperate to become a ruler. That is why they remain desperate to become the member of the parliament, to become member of the provincial assemblies, and this is the reason. And the poor, the people are poor, they are unable to get the proper medical treatment. They, many of them are not in a position to buy the medicine. Many of them are not being treated well in the governmental hospitals, and they fail to get the good education for the children. Not only this thing, the food they are consuming is a very substandard one. And keeping on all of these reasons, I think that if at all the people are poor here, if at all the people are in trouble here, if at all the general public here in Pakistan is suffering, it is only the biggest, there might be several reasons, but the biggest single reason is that the ruling class of Pakistan, they are irresponsible, they are dishonest, they are careless toward the general public. I think if at all they are careless, if at all they are merciless, if at all they are careless, and if at all they have desensitized themselves again for the poor, for the general public in Pakistan, then we, the general public, we need to take the things into our own hands, and we need to demand all those things, and we need to insist upon all of these things, and this will be the only way out of the current mess. If at all we keep bearing, tolerating, and if at all we remain silent upon all what the ruling class, what the elites are doing with the general public, I think the things will never improve in the country. Some of the people will be accumulating almost all of the resources, and they will be making merry on the national exchequer, on the public money, but the public itself, they will be in a very poor and in a very troubled and in a very dire state. And this is not a rocket science at all. Understanding it is not such a difficult thing. It can be done. But if at all there is somebody like Hafiz Naeemur Rahman who has said that 380 billion rupees can be saved just by ending one thing, and that one thing is, ending the state protocol to the so-called VIPs, to the so-called VVIPs who are very ineffective as far their service to the public is concerned. They are very much ineffective. But if at all, when the time comes for their own luxuries, when the time comes for the accumulation of the resources for their personal and family gains, they people are seen very effective. They people are seen very quick here, and that is the trouble. They are having the double standards, the dual standards. They are really desensitized themselves. They have really desensitized themselves against the poor. When it comes to the matter of their own self, their own families, they are seen traveling abroad so frequently for the sake of pleasure, for the sake of medical treatment, for the sake of buying other luxuries and shopping from there. This is now, I think that Pakistan is a country of contradiction. Pakistan is a country of contradiction indeed. This was said by the Norwegian ambassador there in Islamabad. Why? Because there are people who are unable to buy even the very basic needs of theirs. On the other hand, there are people in Pakistan who are billionaires and trillionaires out of the corruption money, and they are hoarding this money out of the country for the sake of their luxuries.